Around to the other pole, and it starts rotating counterclockwise. Counterclockwise, come to here, try and take it slow. Counterclockwise, over to the other side, and counterclockwise. So yes.
This is the phenomenon I'm talking about. Turning like a clock. This is obviously a northern hemisphere video because it's turning clockwise.
Every night in your sky, it will rise wax and set wane.
Hello and welcome to Scientifically Speaking. Today we're playing around with my 2" by 1" by 2" magnet. That's the north, that's the south. That represents the moon. It is magnetized to it. It is just made out of metal, so it is staying where it's supposed to. Now, certain channels, scaremongery channels on YouTube, are saying that the moon keeps rolling clockwise across the sky. It's doing cartwheels clockwise. These would be channels like Homebrewed, Angry Catfish Briggs, and Catfish Corners. Now these gentlemen believe that the moon is rolling clockwise across the sky every night because the planet has turned on its side, so the North Pole is facing in a different direction. So I'm going to show you what an object will do, which it does when it's travelling around the equator. It does this, but just not as much. Basically it just means it does that as it passes through the planes. What we're going to see here is what people have said, that oh, the moon's going near the North Pole and it's rolling clockwise. So we're going to take a look at this moon and we're going to see on the side, you can see these little black lines. I'll zoom in. Now this is going to rotate, so going around the Earth from east to west, we would go that way across the sky. So that's what this is going to do, and we're going to see which way this rotates. If it rotates clockwise, hey, the moon's doing cartwheels perhaps because of the magnetic field that's moving it. So let's see what it does. It rotates counterclockwise. So east to west, this object rotates counterclockwise. So, okay, let's put it back over here. Let's turn the magnet around so we have the other pole and see if it's any different. So, different pole, east to west, rolls counterclockwise. So the moon does rock slightly as it goes across the sky due to the magnetic field we are in. But if the moon was going over the North Pole, it would rotate counterclockwise, not clockwise, as these channels are saying and showing. You see, the clockwise rotation is just when it goes from east to west, and it's a matter of perspective and how far away the moon is. So I do hope this proves to everybody who's worrying that the moon is cartwheeling clockwise across the sky. This is just to show a simple experiment that kind of objects to that analogy, because this actually rotates counterclockwise as it goes across the sky. Now, I will say one thing though. The North and the South Pole are kind of moving sideways and over here as if they're going to join together. I can't do that with this magnet. Maybe I could stick some other magnets here. Maybe that would affect that, but I'm not going to do it now because stuff might fly apart. So the magnetic poles are not directly in the poles anymore. They have kind of moved like this. One's a South Atlantic anomaly, I believe, and the other one's heading to Russia. I might be wrong on that, but they're definitely moving towards each other. A bit like a halo wave that then starts closing back in because the energy towards it has been reduced. So that could actually affect what the moon does, but the Bible states that the earth is going to rock like a shack in the wind and sway like a drunken man. So we all know the earth's going to get shaken up. So that would lead us to believe that the moon will eventually start shaking. Considering all this magnetic changes are happening to our planet, do you think it would affect us first or the moon first? I'm not sure. I'm believing it would affect the planet first. Maybe then the moon. Not sure. Maybe it would attract the power from the moon, so the moon would start wandering away or zooming in close. Not sure. But it's all been foretold in the Bible that all this devastation and such is going to happen. So I hope everybody's happy about that experiment of what a magnetized object, round object, would do if it passed over the poles. And either pole says that's going counterclockwise, and that is turning counterclockwise. So I find it difficult to believe, because I've looked at the moon myself and done some observations for, well, 45 years, because I've always lived in the country. And I'll take this experiment over what anybody else has been saying on the internet, because I just showed it with magnetized objects, which these channels are talking about and using the terms in bad ways of explaining things that aren't quite correct or have been actually videotaped correctly. So yeah, if anything, you would expect the moon, that moon, to have been rotating clockwise. If that had rotated clockwise, well, I might have paid a bit more attention. But the fact that I can just turn this magnet round and it goes clockwise on either one tells me that the moon is not rolling clockwise. That's just the perceived perspective of the moon as it rises in the east and sets in the west due to its 5-degree inclination. Okay, so I hope that calmed a few nerves, that sometimes what you hear on the internet isn't true, and you can kind of show it with a simple experiment using the apparatus that they're talking about, which is magnetized objects, which the moon and earth are electromagnetic objects. In fact, they're neither. There's no such thing as a magnet. There is only an energy object. I've said that from the very beginning. No such thing as a magnet. Just an object which focuses energy. Your bones are an example, and they're not a classic magnet, but that's why they have muscles on either side of them. Same as magnets have finger vortexes that scroll up north and south at the inertial line. Thanks very much. My name is Lee. I follow the Christ, and he showed me all this years ago, and I do hope I explained it correctly. Thanks a lot. Around to the other pole, and it starts rotating counterclockwise. Counterclockwise. Come to here, try and take it slow. Counterclockwise. Over to the other side. And counterclockwise. So yes,